Sorry for the delay. I think I have to reconnect the devices. So technically, hello. This is me performance using CSS3 operating television. If you want to follow this presentation live, you can go to this URL here on your device, laptop or tablet or phone or whatever. So please do that. Yeah, this is me. I'm co-founder and CTO of Swipe, which is the product you're hopefully using from me. Swipe. I'm more of a back-end person, really. I haven't done much front-end work until 1 year ago when we started Swipe. And yeah, I love the lawyer. So I believe that there's not much difference between backend and frontend, really. It's all just programming. It's made for designers that learn frontend stuff. I don't think there's a very sharp difference there. Let me showcase some of the features we have in Swipe.
And my job is to get the ship pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, sorry, well, you didn't get the setup for the joke, but whatever. Anyway, the thing is, Steve Jobs comes back to Apple and he says, Apple is a ship with a big hole in the bottom. And my job is to point the ship in the right direction, which is like very strange. This next video is not a joke. I used to hate Microsoft and Bill Gates, but after watching this, I learned to respect Bill Gates. It's about the goal of zero emissions of CO2 and about nuclear power. So, I recommend you go to this URL later, swipe.to/meet.js and watch that video because maybe you'll learn to respect Bill Gates. Also love to take photos. This is some of the big use cases we see for Swipe. Showcasing art in general because when people have images in their hand, it's much easier for designers and artists to show, like in high resolution, exactly what they want to show to clients and customers. And I believe that in software development, the tortoise beats the hare. I think that long-term thinking is crucial to build good software, and if you take shortcuts, like the previous presentation is a very good example of doing stuff properly. If you take shortcuts, it'll pay off in a few weeks, but after a few months, you'll already be passed by the guys that does it properly. And that doesn't mean I think you should do everything perfectly from the start, but because that's impossible, but you have to try and do it properly, or you won't do it properly the second time either. So, Swipe. Swipe started as an idea 1 year ago, and by my co-founder, and he came to Startup Weekend, where I met him, to pitch his idea, and we ended up winning that event. And in April this year, we got invited to compete at the Next Web. And that was in April. We were told the 1st of April that we would be competing 4 weeks from that date. So at that point, we both quit our full-time jobs and started working on Swipe. And this month, we moved to London to continue. And yeah, now we're growing our team. this is what Swipe looks like today. This is what I used to build my presentation. And yeah. So now on to the more technical stuff. This was the challenge. I wanted to build, if someone here in the audience is using a product, they can play with it, they can go to the next slide, etc. without me helping my help. The challenge was to build a responsive full-screen slider that would work well on mobile and laptops and everything in between, and to make it feel, native, basically, because it's got to be fun to use. And the requirement was to build it in browser, because the idea is that the audience can follow along if they're on the other side of the world or in the same room, and you wouldn't want to require people to install an app for that to happen. So that was a challenge. Since we're a startup and our focus is building a product and not playing with cool web technology, I wanted to try and cheat. I wanted to find the slideshow, and I knew there had to be one out there that did this for me. There has to be some kind of native feeling slideshow in JavaScript, and because the slideshow thing is just like the one on iOS, it's very similar. So I knew there had to be one out there, but I turned out to be wrong. There is nothing like that. All the stuff that I found, I must have reviewed maybe 20 different sliders. They were all written in a very inextensible and very clunky manner. One that I was quite happy with had hardware acceleration and felt very smooth on mobile, but it was 6,400 lines of code and a 65 kilobyte dependency gzipped. So I was just not going to cut it. So I decided to make my own. I wanted to make something that was extensible and that I understood. So the requirements. Swiping. Pinch to zoom, because why not? I had to have embedding of videos, because that's part of the idea. And other comments. See, somebody's watching that. Yeah, it had to work on mobile. That's already central to the idea. I have to be able to present. And I needed responsive images. I wanted the slider to work so that if you have a laptop with a retina display, you can still display art or work and get the full benefit from the display. Yet I still wanted to make it possible to display presentation on 3G on mobile. So images had to be loaded dynamically and by some logic that I could specify on the device itself. And after a while playing around, I realized I needed hardware acceleration because it was too janky on mobile devices, this swiping thing, without hardware acceleration. And in terms of hardware acceleration, it's not that hard anymore. Most modern browsers support it. WebKit on mobile supports it very easily. And you can turn it on by, this is one way to turn it on. Translate is a transform in CSS that moves an object from side to side, or up and down. If you instead use the translate 3D transform, the object will be loaded into graphics memory, and you will use your graphics card to do the moving, and you will get a much smoother experience. It will feel native because it is. This is another trick to enable hardware acceleration. Once you've used this transform, this 3D transform on an object, hardware acceleration is turned on. So whatever you do with that object after that, it's in graphics memory and will be hardware accelerated. This is another trick. It has to do with the visibility of something if you flip it around. And that's not really interesting for me, but it has a side effect, this thing. If you hide the background when you flip it around in CSS3, hardware acceleration will be enabled in WebKit. And that's interesting because mobile browsers are WebKit. So that's what I ended up using, because I didn't want to switch between these every place in my code when I did translation, so instead I just added this whenever I wanted hardware acceleration. And this turns out to be important because you can't just, this presentation has about 40 slides, and I can't just turn on hardware acceleration on all those 40 slides, because then the browser on the iPad will crash, because you run out of graphics memory. And especially the first Retina iPad had this problem. It has the least amount of memory for any Retina device ever, and it crashes very easily. So I bought one of those just to test on it, so if it works on that, I'm sure it works on everywhere else. So what you have to do is, when you enable hardware acceleration, is to be strategic about what you put into graphics memory. Only the slides that are going to be displayed are put into graphics memory. Yeah. So, yeah, here's the swiping. I was hoping more of you would try it out. I'm not sure. How many of you have tried it out? The swiping part? Okay, a third of you. That's pretty good. When you swipe like this, it's only the next and the previous slides are in graphics memory, and of course the front one. On mobile devices, the memory is so low that you actually have to only have 2 slides in graphics memory at a time to be able to exploit the whole resolution of the screen. So what you have to do is bring the next one into memory when you're sliding right, and the previous one into memory when you're sliding left. So, no free lunch there. The next point is treat the DOM with respect. You can't, or you can, sure. You shouldn't read values from the DOM if you can read it from a variable in JavaScript instead. I did a benchmark this morning on Chrome 30, you can see it on there. Just reading from the DOM is about 1,000 times slower than reading from a JavaScript variable. So in the old jQuery days, you would kind of enrich an already existing website with sprinkle some jQuery on top, and then if you do that, it's common to store the state of the app in the DOM itself. That's very simple, because if you have 40 images, it's tempting to store the state of those 40 images somewhere in the DOM because they're already there. But that is very slow. What you can't get around is writes to the DOM. Those are, of course, even slower, but those you should combine so that the writes themselves are as few as possible and as big as possible. Making it smooth. To make this effect where if you drop something, it goes to the next slide. Like this, you have to use animation transforms. Those are luckily also hardware accelerated if you use the WebKit trick. And the only gotcha there is that you have to turn them off whenever you're not planning to use them anymore. This the swiper is a port called swiping and switching. Like on the projector right now, you can see the fading part, and on your device you can see the swiping part if you try it. To fade in the slide, it has to be moved, but if you don't remember to turn on, disable the animation transform on that, it'll just come flying across the screen. So that's something I forgot early on. So I had to spend a lot of time rewriting the whole thing, thinking about removing the animation transforms at the correct point in time, because, yeah. Other lessons learned are Android bugs. These can be pretty annoying. Android is a very fragmented ecosystem. This is statistics from 1st of October this year, and it shows that Gingerbread still has 25% of the market. These are official Google statistics. Gingerbread is Android 2.3, for those who don't know that, and that was released in 2010, December. And that's the same month or same time that iOS 4 was released. So I don't know how many people are still on iOS 4, but that's how many are on Gingerbread in the Android world. And that wouldn't matter. It matters to native applications more. But Gingerbread has a very buggy WebKit. The browser has some interesting limitations. The browser itself does not support multi-touch, so pinch to zoom does not work on an Android 2.3 device. So to counteract that, I had to add double clicking so you could zoom even on those devices. And that turns out to work on BlackBerry as well, so that's lucky. Yeah, and actually on a lot of those devices, hardware acceleration is buggy, so I have to detect these browsers and turn it off completely. So instead of having a broken experience, you just have a janky experience. And some tools I can recommend. I know many of you maybe use these already. This is the timeline inspector in Pro. It's a benchmarking tool. This tool is constantly being improved. Every new version, it seems, has some improvements to this tool. Here you can see today's presentation and the timeline over what happens when you load that presentation. The yellow lines are scripting, and the blue ones are loading from the server. And the purple ones at the top are rendering. This is very useful to get a breakdown of when you do something, is it my script that is slow, or is it the browser? Am I doing something stupid when I do rendering? Am I doing too many effects so that rendering takes too much time? Stuff like that. Another tool that I can recommend that many people don't know about is this remote debugging feature on iOS. If you have an iOS device and a Mac, unfortunately, it requires a Mac, you can connect your iPhone or any iOS device and use Safari to fire up an inspector and run the inspector on the mobile device, but you get the whole UI of the inspector on your computer. So then you can get the whole experience there. You can manipulate the DOM, you can run scripts on the mobile device, you can add CSS, and you can even mouse over objects and they will highlight on the mobile device. And this is pretty sweet. The result is what you have on your hand, at least some of you do. It took 1 week to build. It's 1,000 lines of code, including white space. And if you want to learn more about Swipe, the product, please go to this website, read about it. And there might be a surprise there. Yeah. That's about it. Do you have any questions?
How are you going to make money?
That's a question. That's a good question. One we've been asked before. I'm not the business part of I'm not the business half of the co-founder team. But even if I was, I wouldn't necessarily tell you exactly what we're planning to do. But you can imagine more professional users being willing to pay people who hold presentations like once a week or maybe once a day or maybe twice a day will be willing to pay. People pay for Dropbox, and this is way more useful, especially to those people doing a couple of presentations a day. So, hope that's a good answer.
Are you planning to add some
user interaction to the slides, like clickable buttons to the slides?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was planning to do that, but I didn't have time with some other issues came up right before the conference. But that's a very, to you guys, obvious thing to add like dynamic stuff when you have a web page right in your hand. Yeah, definitely yes.
Yeah, I know that we can use an iframe to load the slides to our website.
Yep.
So is it possible to get, or will it be possible in the future to get information on which slide I am, so I can show my users that there's the first slide of 20 or the second of 30 or whatever?
Soon there will be a drop-down menus where you can choose which slide you want to jump to, because if I want to jump to a slide now, and if I wanted to do this in PowerPoint, I'll have to do like this a million times. Oh, here we are, yeah. But if you have a drop-down menu, you can do that with one click and nobody knows that you did that. In that view, we were planning to do kind of progress thing. We don't want to clutter up the place too much. Any other questions? Still have a few minutes to burn, I think.
I might have a question as well.
Yep.
What about the backend technology? What did you use?
Yeah, most of what you saw, or all what you saw today, I wrote myself. The backend is Go, actually. No gasps or surprise faces. Yeah, it's Go. The thing in Go is that the standard library has this HTTP server included, just like Node. So you write basically a server that just calls functions. It's very simple. And you can understand the whole thing in one afternoon, and there's no big kind of framework yet, which I think is a good